We should also be cautious about the motivation of the one who provides information. That's why the scriptures warn us against priestcraft.
Travis Wayne Goodsell. It wasn't too long ago when I did the reboot of A Test by Heber C. Kimball. And so here we are. You really need to pay attention to my videos, guys. You really do. The scriptures tell us to test the word for truth. You cannot run a test with a spiritual witness feeling. That's the initial receiving of the word. So good, you believe it, but you haven't run the test. The test is to see the word manifested in the flesh. So the word of wisdom is a simple one for everybody to understand. No drinking alcohol. Is that true or false? Those who are alcoholics say it's false. So now you know the word is false. No. Alcohol causes damage instantly and other reverberating consequences that destroys a person's life. One sip may not do anything to a person, may not be negligible, noticeable consequences of harm. But yeah, clearly when you see an alcoholic, you see the destruction that a person who chooses to drink alcohol destroys their life in all sorts of ways. And so yeah, you get all sorts of drunks who say they're just social drinkers. Just a social drinker. Yeah, Plenty of Fish was a dry well back when I was doing that, because it allowed people to say if they're a social drinker. And so they're woman after woman after woman after woman after woman after woman after woman, social drinker. I know too well not to be able to trust that. I have seen the consequences all too often. And so if they are just a social drinker, they've got to be able to prove themselves in more ways, and they were never interested in me anyway. So never was able to put a woman to the test. A test. So I just watched the episode of Quantum Leap Season 2, Episode 5, in which they are there at the Rodney King riots in '92. I was up in Canada when I saw it on the television. I had just gotten married. Actually, no, we were still here. No, we stayed until we stayed until I finished the semester, and then we went up to Canada. That's right. So I was up in Canada when I saw it on the TV, because we didn't have a television when we first got married, and we were living across the street on the northeast corner of the Ricks College. That's right. So yeah, we were up in Canada then. And yeah, memories on the corner of my mind. But this is what we're about to face. We just have to wait until there's a breaking point. When Americans have had enough of Trump taking away from them their lives, their liberties, their property, where they say we cannot tolerate this any longer, and that they realize protesting is doing nothing. And as I told you in a video, I think yesterday, I don't think it was this morning, was it? In which protesting does nothing. It does not cause change. It is a worthless pursuit. It's free speech, and it's protected, except in the state of Utah. It's a terrorist act. But until violence takes a life, then it will make change. That is a sad reality. And so all these people who are organizing protests, trying to make it peaceful protest, you're wasting your time. And if you're doing it, you know very well why you're doing it. It's your job. You're making money from donations, you bastard. Because it will not do change. And so, yeah, the person is pretty much scamming everybody into a peaceful protest to pay for their livelihood, similar to those during Christmas time that all say that, look at these poor puppies, give today. Or priest crafters who say, Jesus said he's going to smite me down if you don't pay me so I can buy another yacht. Or if I need to buy a new high-tech camera system to record my wife doing the pool boy. You know they're false. Just like all Mormons need to run the one simple test for truth. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints claims the word that they're Christian. If it is true, then you can be assured that it's likely that everything else they talk about is true. You still got to run the test, but at least you know the core seed is true. However, if you are an evil person saying that you're just a social Mormon, I only drink the Kool-Aid socially. Just came up with that one. Brilliant! But there's a problem. Joseph Smith said words. The Book of Mormon, our keystone, says words. We need to run the tests. Every Mormon, especially those who've gone on missions, know about Moroni, chapter 10. Missionaries, since this is going to be the topic of the video, go around and do the golden question about the Book of Mormon and take those who receive a copy to Moroni after 3rd Nephi chapter 11 and ask the investigator to do what it says, to run the test. And then when the missionaries come back a week later, the person says, yeah, I was told no. That is false. My spiritual witness feeling told me it's false. Well, you didn't do it right. Do it again. We'll do it with you. We'll make sure you have the right feeling. No. We're running the test for Christianity, for Joseph Smith and the Book of Mormon, not the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints say they are from Joseph Smith and the Book of Mormon. That's what this church is making their mega trillions from, is going around telling people the Book of Mormon and Joseph Smith are Christian. That's why they're so filthy rich. So are they true as Christian? The Book of Mormon and Joseph Smith, not the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Because obviously the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is Christian. It's got the name of Jesus in the center of the name. Go to their source. There is no other test. So, we go to the Book of Mormon. Let's read from the beginning. I, Nephi, having been born of goodly parents, therefore I was taught somewhat in all the learning of my father. And having seen many afflictions in the course of my days, nevertheless, having been highly favored of the Lord in all my days, having had a great knowledge of the goodness and the mysteries of God, therefore I make a record of my proceedings in my days. Yea, I make a record in the language of my father. Which consists of the learning of the Jews and the language of the Egyptians. And I know that the record which I make is true, and I make it with my own hand, and I make it according to my knowledge. For it came to pass in the commencement of the first year of the reign of Zedekiah, king of Judah, 597 BCE, not about 600 BCE. The Book of Mormon says that the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is false. We ran the test on the Word. We tested for Christianity of the Book of Mormon. The Book of Mormon says no. It is pre-Babylonian captivity Jewish Egyptians. That is the religion. That is a completely different religion than Christianity. It is almost 1,000 years before the creation of Christianity. But in so doing that, we're assuming that the first creed of Christianity is true. That the scriptures of the Jews are literal histories to be placed in chronological order. But we haven't gotten to that test yet. We just wanted to find out what religion does the Book of Mormon say it is, and is the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints telling us the truth? And the answer is no, they are not. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is fraudulently using the Book of Mormon to make money, to make their trillions of dollars. And yet it's ex-fo-nevermos who all complain that Joseph Smith published the Book of Mormon to make money. So is Joseph Smith a Christian? Now we got to run this test. For this, we go to the Doctrine and Covenants. Section 3, verse 16. 116 pages have been stolen by Martin Harris. And so Joseph Smith is told the Book of Mormon will still get published. For inasmuch as a knowledge of a Savior has come unto the world through the testimony of the Jews. The theology of Joseph Smith is Jewish. Because even so shall the knowledge of a Savior come unto my people. Joseph Smith and the Book of Mormon both are Jewish religion. Pre-Babylonian captivity Jewish Egyptians, not Orthodox Jews of today. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is lying. They are, by the test of Matthew chapter 7, starting in verse 15, false prophets. We therefore, because this is the core, cannot trust them for any other thing they say, because it's automatically a lie. Because every other branch off is a branch off of claiming to be Christian, not Jewish. Thus, just like Christians, not true, guys. Not true either. See the damage it takes from being a drunk Mormon? And you said you were just a social Mormon. You lie! Come at me with your red hair and your beating blue eyes and your seductive speech and your soft, gentle touch. You lie. And so, yes, This is why I've done my videos the way I've done my videos all these latter days. To warn Mormons. Doing over 8.4K videos, trying to get your attention, trying to get you to see through all different methods and processes and presentations. And still, when I do one variant of a presentation, inevitably people say you should have done it this other way, which I've already done, and it failed. You do not know how to do my channel. Nobody does. This is my responsibility. On the bus today, I was coming back home. And shortly after takeoff, my mind envisioned that the bus driver started to leave, and that a black person was outside trying to get the bus driver's attention to stop and pick him up. And the bus driver saw him and kept going. Normally, I just treat that as, just my mind wandering. A casual dreamer. 3 stops later, the bus driver had stopped for quite a long time there at that stop because of the number of people that were getting off and on. And then, doors closed, he starts to take off. And a black person, stop, bus driver sees him, drives on. It was snowing out there. I don't know if it's still snowing. And there was a wind chill. This is how my associative memory works, guys. This is why it's important to watch my videos to the end. I have other memory recall videos, or videos, memory recall memories, except for memorization. I've got it, obviously, but I don't like to use it. But when I'm doing my videos, I start talking about a subject matter. Sometimes I'll have notation, but that's it. There's no script. This is social media. This is not a professional presentation for you. Academia is where I try to be a little more professional, but to be all in, it takes time to develop a paper. It's quicker and easier to get the message out through video on YouTube. But because of this simple test that every Mormon is supposed to run, but every Mormon is deceived by false prophets. And that false belief turns Mormons into evil people. The hate that spews from Mormons' mouths, telling me to shut up, telling me that I'm of the devil, that I'm a Korah, that I need to leave you alone. just awful. Okay, so yeah, I'm not gonna find them. They're buried. Had 2 yesterday from evil people. What does it take, Mormons? Because in my videos, I have already a pre-idea of what I'm going to talk about, but then I start to tangent. And part of that is a type of matching memory. I just watched the show, for example, about the Rodney King riots, and they talked about the Watts riots in the show. But as I get talking, I then get inspired as to what to say. And that's when you guys need to pay attention, because I'm going off script, going off the bottle. And so, yes, those who are able to endure to the end of my videos can often see the most inspiring near the end, though oftentimes at the beginning I have some cool little thing to say. But I do introductions on purpose. That's to weed out the unbelievers, get them the hell away from me, to not cast pearls before swine, or eggs before swine. The egg of great price. And unto one he gave 5 eggs. Where's our breaking point, America? Mormons. Where's our breaking point? It's all Heber C. Kimball, guys. Heber C. Kimball. Last night, I wrote this because I was going to bed. And this morning I had to do the Trump ICE 2025 video first. And so that gave me time to think. And then right before, as I got back, I said, oh yeah, a test again. I've already run the test on Heber C. Kimball to identify who he is, because the church isn't true. And yeah, it's a high probability that he's going to be the false prophet. Sure enough. But the way in which I found out he was false was when I started doing church history, starting from the beginning and working my way forward. I learned all about Joseph Smith Sr. being a Jewish Kabbalist, however you want to pronounce it. I don't care. It's a picture language. And he was a York Rites Master Mason that has the Knights Templar. So the Knights Templar lore needs to be learned. And so I then recognized how that was being played out in the 116 rewritten pages. So yeah, I'm the one who figured out the fact that Joseph Smith Sr. is the author of the rewritten 116 pages. And I've done those videos for you. I did some publishing on that, of what I was finding out. And I told you the other day about Coppersmith Shop versus Coopersmith Shop. How I was under the belief that it was Coopersmith Shop or Coppersmith Shop. And running the test, there was some problems. But then running the test for Coopersmith Shop, now it fit. And it fit better as more things were explained by running that simple test. And so I thank the person who asked the question, is it Cooper or Copper? And that's why I run tests always. Even with Paleo-Hebrew that I've fully deciphered and translated, I still keep running the test, even though I don't need to. I'm always right, because I ran the test. I confirmed. I know the truth now. But Heber C. Kimball under Masonry in Wikipedia exposes that Heber C. Kimball is lying to us and that he knows what I already knew. That's how I knew he was lying, because I already ran the test on Joseph Smith Sr. to learn the truth. And so when Heber C. Kimball is making claims of making contact, but not talking about making contact, and talking about being a royal ark and a master mason, being there at the lodge, it was clear he was lying. And what he was revealing was that he knew who was responsible for getting the Book of Mormon published. And yet, here he is, Heber C. Kimball, always talking about Christian Joseph Smith, Christian Book of Mormon, when he knew the truth. And so then I found out that he was responsible for paying the Judas price with Brigham Young to have Joseph Smith assassinated. He is a very evil man. And so his attest needs to be seen in this light. Heber C. Kimball is the enemy plotting to overthrow the government in the latter days. And so it's important to understand this context when you read it. When he says, after a while, the Gentiles will gather by the thousands to this place, and Salt Lake City will be classed among the wicked cities of the world. The headquarters of international terrorism? Yeah. A spirit of speculation and extravagance. That's seeking wealth. Will take possession of the saints. And the results will be financial bondage. And so you get Mormons who talk about the evils of credit card debt. Persecution comes next. And all true Latter-day Saints. There's the Danite code. Will be tested to the limit. Many will apostatize. Yeah. At least 15 million. We don't have 17 plus. I should have put it on the screen and I didn't. I made the pretty picture. Took a snapshot and then trimmed it for insertion into the video. 17 1,225,394 at the end of 2023. And we're still waiting for April conference to come and go before they'll release the new stats, because Oaks came out years ago and said we're no longer doing stats. Bleep you all. And this is interesting. And others will be still, not knowing what to do. The church is filthy rich. The spirit of speculation and extravagance will take possession of the church. Not the saints. And do you see how this is played out? That persecution of the church being filthy rich and neglecting the poor and being the law of Section 119 rather than a donation is causing the persecution against the poor victims of the church. And so, yes, Mormons have left. They're neglecting the poor. They're lying to us. I'm out. 15 million. Gone. And so he says that those who remain are true Danite Mormons who know the church is wrong and become the enemy, to threaten other people to believe them or shut up and die. But he says there will be fence sitters. Fence-sitting Danites who won't know what to do. They've embraced the church their whole lives. They don't know what else to do with their life. And they know they don't want to become an apostate and who goes out on an orgy binge, drinking binge, smoking binge, and suicide tattoos. Because that's what we all do. And so, yeah, that lie of fear that the church places in Mormons prevents Mormons from leaving their abusive relationship. Because they think, nobody will want me if I leave. It's so sad, because nobody wants me. So yeah, but I knew what to do. That's the difference. I ran the test. But when the riots happen, when America, when Utah has had enough, and the chaos is all over the nation, on every street, there will be those who won't know what to do. They'll be shocked. They'll want things to return to the way they were because that was the way people have made their lives. They don't know that there's a better way because that the abuse is all they ever knew. And so he continues, darkness will cover the earth and gross darkness the minds of the people. Yeah. That's what the church causes with their lies. That's what Christianity causes with their lies. That's what he's talking about. Then he says, the judgments of God will be poured out on the wicked. That's the riots, the wars, the bloodshed, to the extent that our elders from far and near will be called home. And in so saying, he's saying that the church isn't going to do anything until after it happens. But when the judgments are poured out on the wicked, the riots, the elders won't be able to come home. There are so many problems in 2020 when I brought this up. And then Nelson gave the call, and I rebooted it. Gotta pay attention to me, guys. This time, it won't be creeping death. This time, it will be bloodshed. This time, people are upset with the church for being filthy rich and hoarding it. I have no confidence in Judge Shelby to remember Section 119. That tithing is the law, it is not a donation. Getting busted for SEC violation. Yeah, everybody went, yeah, we knew it. It's a corrupt church. But nobody knows this church like I do, because I ran the tests. I was a victim. The total number of missionaries are almost 100,000. This was the end of 93. And so there's more need for missionaries since last year. And so it could be over 100,000. But 8 more days, it appears that Trump has escalated things, purposely bullying Americans and our allies around the world to the point of breaking us, so that Trump then can claim to be the victim and then send in the military to crush us and murder us. But what is that breaking point? He has invaded every federal agency. Social Security, the IRS, the FBI, the Department of Justice, Homeland Security, TSA, the FAA, and everywhere else. What will be the breaking point? When people can no longer afford to live. When people have to defend themselves to live. When people can't afford property. When people are held in bondage. What will be the breaking point? What will be that trigger? Will it be a simple ruling in a lawsuit? Will it be the actions of cops or ICE? Will it be a verdict against the church? Wouldn't that be interesting if Utah starts it all off? From my house it will begin. Upon my house will it start. That's $112. 23. Verily, verily, I say unto you, darkness covereth the earth, and gross darkness the minds of the people. Heber C. Kimball knows what he's talking about, doesn't he? And all flesh has become corrupt before my face. That is my visionary associative memory, by the way. Behold, vengeance cometh speedily upon the inhabitants of the earth. A day of wrath, a day of burning, a day of desolation. The abomination of desolation. And they, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, shall burn us. Of weeping, mourning, lamentation, and as a whirlwind shall come upon the face of the earth, saith the Lord. And upon my house, the temple, shall it begin, and from my house, the temple, shall it go forth, saith the Lord. First among those among you, saith the Lord, who have professed to know my name, and called me Jesus, having not known me, and have blasphemed against me in the midst of my house, saith the Lord. By the bedside, wearing black for the darkness, rather than the white shirt. This is going to be tragic, because the church is using you to claim to be victims when it all hits the fan, to claim persecution when missionaries are murdered, stranded, kept from coming to America because a civil war has broke out, while parents are stuck wondering if their loved ones on missions are safe and if they're ever going to be reunited with them. This church caused that. This church needs to bring them home now, before Trump's deadline. Because the tariffs are going to begin at the beginning of the next month. He's already been gutting everything. There will be a breaking point. He's going to keep on going until he breaks America. And when he breaks America, he will then claim to be the victim and then punish us for breaking that he himself caused. When the tariffs are instituted, we're going to see the stock market crash. It's after 2 o'clock. Let's see how it's doing today. How did I know? How did I know? It fell 450.94 on the Dow. Live, President Trump hosts a reception honoring Black History Month in the White House. He took away your rights. Yep. Yep. S&P apparently 500 slides from recent highs. It's 26.63, but it's only up to 6,000. And I see ads for Farm Rio. Are you going to let me do a download of them? Let's do a test. The 210 USD. You do? See, that's what I appreciate. Why can't other sites do that? I can get caught up on this for hours, as long as the internet doesn't cyber terrorize me. So I'm just going to sit here and ramble off while I look at all the porn. It's not porn. Women. If there's anything beautiful, lovely, of good report or praiseworthy, we seek after it, not shun it and cover it up and hide it. So what's this? Oh, bare necessities. Yeah, that was banned. The internet refused to allow me to see that when Utah was on their porn kick the other year. They thought that was porn. That is real pathetic, that Mormons have to have underwear to cover up their nakedness, because that's porn. But even the underwear has to be covered up and hidden. Which a swimsuit's more revealing. Yep. And so, yeah. The judge gave Trump the green light to destroy America. What will be the breaking point? Because the stock market has nothing to do with the common folk. It's big corporations. It's the church. They're pulling their money, in case you didn't know. It's the church that is pulling it. So, the missionaries must come home now. When you know the danger that's coming, you don't wait until after the danger. You know, I should have said, "Come on, bus driver, it's snowing outside." But here, it's to Nelson. This is more life and death. They are not true. That's why they will never listen to me. That's why they'll always be trying to murder me. That's why they're always ordering people to shut me up and silence me, to threaten me, to abuse me, to hurt me. Because this church isn't true, simply by running the one basic simple test. Save our missionaries. Bring them home now.